Hey everybody, it's David, ECEC 204, week 3 in the books. We're getting close to halfway finished. I bet some of you are jumping up and down. I always tell students, it seems like it flies by. A 7-week term is so short, but it seems like it flies by for me. For some of you, you may think, I can't wait till this is over. But let's talk a bit about this week. I'm still doing some of the grading on the assignments this week, but overall things were pretty good this week. I enjoyed the comments that you all had on the discussion forums, the multiple choice tests were pretty good. So overall, not too bad. This week talked about how economies grow, talked about economic growth, and it was pretty heavy on definitions. And some of these definitions you probably hear regularly in the news if you're watching the news or reading newspapers on anything. And you hear words like inflation and economic growth and GDP and all these things. And so it was pretty heavy on definitions this week. So my hope is that some of those things stuck with you. The discussion forum this week I really liked. Again, what I try to do in the classes that I teach throughout this program, and again, I teach mainly in the graduate program, not in the undergraduate program. What I try to do is focus on application and focus on things that you perhaps can fully understand, influence, and so on and so on. So the video you watched was on the hidden force in global economics, and it talked about remittances and how you have people working in a country, United States, other countries, and then sending money back to people at home in perhaps economies that aren't as developed as the U.S. And part of that is understanding the challenges of measuring all these things in complex markets. There are hidden economies, there are other things that go on that economists can only make assumptions about. Sometimes their assumptions are good and sometimes they're bad. I can tell you from what I've seen on most of these things, their assumptions are typically underestimated, and it's typically larger than they think that it is. And how governments fight against money laundering and those types of things. The government tends to always focus on the negative piece of it versus the good that can be done through it, because they try and fix challenges. So they see money going out of the United States and think, well, it's tax avoidance, it's drugs, it's all these other things, when in fact it could just be, I'm sending it home to my grandmother to help her be able to buy food the next day. So I hope that was eye-opening for you. And based on your comments, I think a lot of you saw that as eye-opening. You also think about it today, there are so many different ways of getting money in and through the organization, through the country, through people and business and so on. For example, we have house cleaners who clean our house every week, and we pay them. They are our company, but we pay them through Venmo, rather than writing checks and things of that nature. But the government now is starting to crack down on Venmo. It's now being monitored. It's going to require people to send 1099s or businesses to, if it's over $600 over the annual period, again, because they think people are avoiding corporate tax and so on and so on. So, challenges exist there. And so just, hopefully it was an interesting week for you, and it was an interesting week for me as well. All right, take care.